Hello, everyone, all my people out there, my subscribers. Hello, thank you for tuning in today. I am Kat. This is Cosmic Metamorphosis channel, and today we're going to be talking about our education system and how it has failed our children and parents. I've been on a journey the past 3 years with my daughter. I took her out of school in the 7th grade. She just finished her sophomore 10th grade year. So we had lots of issues, and I'll get into that in just a minute. Right now, what's going on in public schools is really a disgrace, and parents need to stand up. They're forcing the jab on these kids, and a lot of the kids don't want it, but their parents are forcing them to get these injections, let's say. And it's not good. I did research a long time ago because of my health issues, and I was offered by my doctor to take a special shot for my endometriosis. It was called Lupron, and this was supposed to put me into basically early menopause, so it would help my pain. Well, immediately a red flag went up in my head. I mean, this was probably, 15 years ago. And so he wanted me, like, he kind of pushed it a little bit, trying to get me to take this Lupron shot. And I went home. I told him, let me think about it. I went home. I did the research. I found out that there were huge class action lawsuits against the company with that shot and all the side effects, and it horrified me. And I was like, I already get migraines, I already don't feel good, like I just didn't want anything else going in my body, so I never took it. Thank goodness, because people don't stop and think that once something is in your body, you can't get it out. It's not going to come out. You have to think about it that way, okay? But anyway, that's one thing that they're doing in these schools right now that's really horrible for these kids. And just the fact that, it starts out when they start kindergarten, and they can't start kindergarten unless they have all their vaccinations, all their immunization shots, okay? Which, if I had known 10, 11 years ago that there were exemptions, because they don't even tell you about the exemptions. You have to find that out on your own. Like, most people don't know you do have the right, whether it's your religious beliefs or your beliefs that, you don't need to take those shots. They don't tell you that. I found out on my own. And if I had known, I probably would never let my daughter have her shots. Because growing up, she was pretty much, until she was 5, she was healthy and she was happy. And she was thin. And by the time she started kindergarten, which her birthday's in September, so I actually held her out another year. So she was just turned 6 when she started kindergarten. So after those shots, she started gaining weight. And throughout the years, she just steadily increased in weight till she was about 200 pounds. And she was very tall for her age compared to most kids, but she got made fun of a lot, unfortunately, and she didn't have a whole lot of friends. And by sixth grade, she started having issues. And I noticed over that last year she had been really thirsty and drinking a lot and always hungry and always going to the bathroom. And then she was having problems with her lips were getting really chapped. And anyway, long story short, I took her to the doctor. They ran blood tests. They said she had diabetes type 1. She had lost a lot of weight, too. She lost like 50 pounds really quickly. And it was basically her body was eating itself because of the diabetes. We were flabbergasted because nobody on my side and nobody on her dad's side had diabetes in the family. Like type 2 maybe, but as they got older and were heavier in weight, but nobody on either side had type 1. So where does that come from? So everything coming up about the autism, and yeah, not only do these immunizations cause, autism and other things in any autoimmune deficiency, like these kids are turning out to be having all these issues. But yeah, I wish I would have known back before she started kindergarten that they had exemptions out there. You just have to know where to find them. And they're usually through your state, local websites. The bad thing about public schooling, let's face it, like as a parent, most parents both work because we have to pay the bills every day. So these kids go to school every day, and I've seen lots of kids crying because they just don't want to go to school, and it's horrible for them. It's cookie cutter learning. So in the public system, all the kids are treated the same way. So it's completely wrong and it's absurd because not every child learns the same way. Some child might learn by seeing how to do something, they're visual, and another child might learn by actually doing it. Some kids can just learn by you telling them. So every child is different and we're each unique. And the way this public school system does it is treats everybody the same. And if a child stands out, and they're not learning or they're not paying attention because they're ADD, there are teachers that pick on them or call them out in class by name, and then the other kids see that the teacher is criticizing that kid and that kid gets picked on. It's just horrible. I'll tell you an instance. In 7th grade, when my daughter started junior high, I had to have meetings with the counselor and the principal and her teachers about all of her expectations and how and where she could take her shots, and that she could eat in class, and that she could carry her phone with her if she needed to call me at any time. So we went through all this with her teachers, and the reason I pulled her out was because I had an instance, finally it had been building, with a particular teacher. She told him one day, she said, "I'm not feeling well, I need to go to the bathroom." And he said, "Oh, okay, in 15 minutes, but you can't go right now." So she waited 15 minutes, and then after that, she asked him again, and he said, "No, like, you can't go right now." He made her wait another 15 minutes. Well, I think it was during when class got out, like she called me and she said, "Mom, I'm not feeling good. Like I really want to come home." And so I went and got her. She got in trouble for calling me because they said she wasn't supposed to have her phone. Anyway, it was a big to-do, and I basically told that teacher she will be allowed to have her phone on her at all times. She can call me at any time. Anytime she wants to leave the classroom, she can. Like, she was already self-conscious because she didn't want to go to the library to give herself an insulin shot. She didn't want to eat snacks in class because then you have the other kids like looking at you eating and going, oh, hey, can I have some of that? Like, she just was very stressed out. And after that episode with the teacher, and I was livid because I was like, no, when my kid calls me and tells me they're not feeling well, especially when they have health issues like that, they should be calling you, come get your child, or letting them call you no matter what, period. So I basically told that teacher, unless you want a lawsuit against your school and yourself personally, she will be able to do whatever she wants. So once I threatened them with a lawsuit, he apologized really quickly. Crazy, but I went down there that Friday and I pulled her out. And yeah, the system, it just really sucks. It doesn't work for these kids. These kids, when she was in elementary school, she had no spelling. They don't teach these kids how to spell, okay? They don't even know how to spell to this day. Working in retail management and having applications come in from these kids around in this town, they didn't even know how to spell their own town's name correctly. That's really sad. So these kids aren't taught spelling at all. There's no spelling lists. I think she might have had them through first grade, and then come second grade, they didn't have spelling at all. They put these kids on iPads all day long as a babysitter because the teacher doesn't want to teach. The teacher just wants to say, hey, get on your iPad and read this and do this lesson and do that. These kids can't even properly write, like handwrite stuff. They don't know how to write, let alone spell. And the reason that, and I've heard this from, I heard Alex Collier on one of his interviews. He was talking about this, how the school system does not teach the kids cursive handwriting anymore because most of all of our historical documents are in cursive. Think about that, and it's true. Everything, if you go to a library or a historical place and look up records, any kind of books, any kind of any kind of historical things, letters, they wrote cursive back in those days. Like, we don't even do that anymore. They don't teach the kids how to write cursive. Like, my daughter loves to do cursive. So yeah, that's really interesting that they won't teach them, because eventually if they don't teach them the cursive lettering and how to read it, they're not going to be able to read our historical documents. Interesting, huh? Then she got told, like even in elementary school, like they separated them by grades. And even if you had brothers and sisters in different grades, they told them they couldn't play with each other. Older kids couldn't play with younger kids. What kind of stupidity is that? Like, really? Because the older kids are gonna hurt the younger kids. Really? Come on. But yet if someone gets picked on, they're not in there to break it up and tell them to be nice to each other. Like, it's definitely, they've taken away the creativity from our kids. They've taken away the art class, craft class, like home ec. They've taken away everything creative that makes a child unique and an individual. They've taken that away. They've stripped it away completely. Math really got me frustrated because I was trying to teach my daughter the way I grew up learning. And in elementary school, they were teaching them to draw pictures. Okay. They wouldn't teach them how to do the borrow and carry your numbers to add and subtract or division or multiply, any of that. They were told to draw pictures. here, draw a little picture. Here's a circle and a circle and a circle, and add those up. And I was like, what in the world are they teaching these kids? Like, you can't learn from picture. Like, maybe some kids can, but like, you literally need to show them how to do the long addition and subtraction. They don't even teach them the proper English anymore. I remember just the wording. I think when I went to school, you would say you and I, and they changed it to you and me. And that was completely wrong when we were growing up. Like, a lot of the English has changed so much. And the kids really have no time to retain anything. They rush through these lessons, and it's all this, when Bush brought in the No Kid Left Behind in school, and they just rush them through these lessons so quickly that these kids don't have time to retain anything. They don't understand it. One day they're learning this, and the next day they're onto a completely different lesson. Like, how are you retaining anything? And especially in the junior highs now, when they started dividing their classes. So you have 7 classes, and you basically have 2 or 3 classes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you have your other classes Tuesday and Thursday. How the hell are these kids supposed to retain anything? If you're trying to learn something and memorize something on a Tuesday, and you don't have that class again till Tuesday or the following week, how are you going to retain anything? I did well in school. I had a photographic memory. I could pretty much write my notes, and that's the thing too. Like, you could write your notes, and as long as you knew like everything in your notes and the category they went under by the time the test came, like the test went by your notes. They don't even do that anymore. You could take notes, and nothing in your notes is anywhere near what's on the test. It's so frustrating, and I feel bad for these kids. I really do, and that's why, like I said, I'm so glad I pulled my daughter out. Like, all this crap that's going on, I just can't take it. It's got to change. It has to be completely redone. And you ask any kid, what'd you learn today? And they're like, nothing interesting. Like, they're just not interested in anything that's being shoved in their face to learn, okay? And I when I would go and pick up my daughter at school, and I would see these kids, and especially the little ones, and I just look at them and I just see so much potential, and so fragile, and they're like little sponges, and if we don't teach them the right way, they're not going to be the person that they were meant to be. I really think the public school needs to completely be demolished and start over. And you need to look at it like, what do these kids want to learn? What are they interested in? Because some kids are good with numbers, and they're good with math, and they love it. It's a challenge, and that's great. Like, yeah, they can go on to be engineers, astronauts, whatever, And there are kids that are interested in nature, and there are kids that are interested in cooking, and there are kids interested in just anything else, animals. We need to get to the point, like some of these other countries in Europe, that by the time they hit junior high, they're given a choice, and they can either stay on the school curriculum or they can pick a trade. And then from 7th grade to 12th grade, they learn that trade, and it's a hands-on trade. Okay, and I've heard a lot of people over the last year talking about this, and I'm glad people are talking about this, because we need to talk about this. This is how our school system needs to change, okay? We need to give these kids a reason to wake up in the morning and a reason to go learn something that they're interested in learning. Because when you do that with a child, by the time they graduate, they have already got the knowledge and the hands-on skill to do a job, and they're ready to go out and earn their own money. Okay, right now you have so many kids dropping out of school, or they get out of school, they don't know what they want to do, they don't have any interest, they just don't really know. Or, oh, my mom and dad said I had to go to college and get an education, and you know what, college is, I'm sorry. There's a lot of people, a lot of famous people that never went to college, and they're doing just fine. They work for themselves, they have their own business. You don't have to go to college. I've always said it was crap because you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, $50,000 to $100,000 to get a degree, okay, but yet I've known so many people that even though they have those degrees, they get out and they have to start at jobs from the very bottom, just like everyone else, because they still don't have the hands-on skills to do that job. So basically, you just paid a huge amount of money for an education that you have no skills in, and you're going to have to start at the bottom like everyone else. I worked with a girl in retail that had 3 degrees. She had 3 degrees in nursing, in biology, and something else, and she got forced by her mother because her mom was a nurse and she wanted her to be a nurse, and she ended up going to manage a store. She didn't do anything with her degrees, 3 degrees, and she did nothing with them. And I've known several people, like I said, that have just not done what their degree was for. So I really think we need to look at it differently with these kids and how we're teaching them. And of course, with everything comes out and we know our true history, they're going to have to get educated in our true history, and we're going to spend more time on their reading and writing skills, their math skills. Like, I know in elementary school, for me, math, I mean, we spent at least 2 weeks learning how to do long division. You know, you can't just spend one day on a subject and the next day is completely something else. And that was when I took her out of public school. We wanted to do online schooling. So I enrolled her on an online school, but it was still through the public system. Okay. So she was still in that system. And I challenge any parent, I know with everyone having to stay home with the online schools, it's very challenging. I challenge any parent. I sat there with my daughter, and for probably 3 weeks to a month, I did every lesson. I did every lesson with her. You know, she did it on her own, but I did it as well on my own because I wanted to see her flow. Okay, I wanted to see what she was learning, what they were teaching, and that's the thing with the online schools too, is that a lot of parents don't, they just stick their kid here, go do your online school, go do your class, and then the kids don't do anything. They don't barely do their lessons, they don't even know what they're studying, what they're learning. I challenge any parent to go in there and do your kids' schoolwork for a few weeks and see how they're trying to teach these kids. Like I said, it was the next day, it was a completely different lesson. And then they throw the reports, which they're not called reports anymore, they're called portfolios. So you can have 5 classes and 4 of them have a portfolio due in the same week. I don't ever remember having that kind of stress when I went to school. Like, you might have had an English report that week. At the most, you might have had 2. But literally, these kids have like 3 and 4 portfolios all due. And then the fact that you had to call or you had to make contact with either the homeroom teacher or one of your teachers in your class list. It used to be when we started, it was once a month, and then this past year it was every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks you had to talk to a teacher. And they wanted to make sure, and they would ask you questions about the lessons, and you'd have to tell them or answer questions, and which I understand that they want to know what you're learning or if you're learning. And for the most case, the teachers were all very nice. Very nice. I never had issues with any of them. There are, a couple that are kind of pissy and kind of hard, but it's the same thing. And it was really hard. And I'm like, some of these things, especially when she was in 7th grade, like some of the things they wanted them to do, like her world geography class, they wanted them to do a portfolio. They had to think of a business, okay? It was somewhere in the world. They had to pick somewhere. They had to think of a business they wanted to open in that spot. They had to think of how they could give back to the community and how much they wanted to give back to the community. It was literally something a college student would have to do. And man, I had to help her on that one. I mean, thank God she did good because I was a travel agent and I knew a lot of cool spots, but yeah, it was really in depth, and a lot of the stuff they want these kids to do at like 12 years old is like stuff they're doing in college. It's insane. They're just pushing it way too much for these kids, like I said, to retain anything. And 12 years old, you're not going to care about a business or opening your own business or how you can give back to the community. Like most kids don't know that stuff. But and the other thing they're pushing now is the critical race theory and trying to segregate, by your skin color. And I'm glad I took her out of that system. And right now we're not even doing online schooling. We're doing unschooling right now. She can read and write. She can do her basics basically, and we'll probably just do the GED test on our own. But it's crazy. I mean, it's insane what's schooling right now, like I said, and I just challenge any parent to do what their kids are doing online and figure out if they could even do it. Because, I mean, I was pulling my hair out on some of the stuff, and I'm like, I don't understand how any kid could get through this. Even with teachers' help sometimes. And some of her classes, like she wanted graphic design, their programs didn't work correctly because their computer programs they used weren't updated. So how are these kids supposed to learn how to do stuff like this if even their computer programs aren't updated? But yeah, we've been doing a lot of watching documentaries. There are, believe it or not, there's a lot of videos out there. There's travel documentaries we've been watching, and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm learning more now than I ever learned in school. Teach your kids how to cook. Teach them how to clean the house. Take them with you grocery shopping and have them do the grocery list. Teach them, do crafts with them. Take them to a craft store, buy them craft things, art things. Let them draw, paint. Let them explore who they are. And that's one thing I've always done with my daughter when she was little. Whatever she was interested in, and she was always interested in drawing, we would always support her in that and whatever she wanted. So she always had Play-Doh. She always had markers and coloring pencils. Anything, drawing pads, and she truly does spectacular work now. Like, we've never stopped her from drawing. And she used to be told by the teachers in elementary school, like, stop drawing, you can't draw, you don't need to be drawing right now. Like, come on, the kid's just drawing a little picture. Like, they can't literally do anything anymore in schools. So that's kind of something I just wanted to let people know, and I think it's on a lot of parents' minds right now. It's a lot of concern with everything that we're going through. take a good hard look. Like, I know it's hard and I know life is, it's tough right now, like I said. And when two people work, I left my job 2 years ago. I just had enough in retail. We could never find enough people to work as an associate, and it literally, I had to take my vacation days as like one extra day a week off. And it was a year before I could even take a full week off in a row. And I couldn't take it anymore. Retail is very stressful too, and demanding, and especially management. And I left. I left, and I've haven't been working ever since. So I've been helping my daughter with her schooling and just doing my crafts and my own stuff. And I do my artwork, and I need to start my Etsy page soon. But yeah, I know, guys, if you have kids, it's a challenge. And I know if you have to work because of money. I didn't plan to stay out from work as long as I did. I planned to go back in the fall, and it just never happened. I never found another job that I really wanted to do. And in our town, literally all of our retail's gone. Like, we've had probably 7 stores close within the last year. We had the only stores literally we have in this town, besides a grocery store here and there, is Home Depot and Walmart. Those are the 2 big stores that we have. We literally don't have anywhere to shop for clothes. There's one lady's store here in the mall, which really isn't a mall. There's like 2 stores in there. The Penny's closed, the Macy's closed, the Kmart closed, the Shopko closed, the Hallmark's closed, a Safeway grocery store closed, another clothing store closed, the Pier 1 I used to work at closed. And yeah, we have an Ulta, and we have a Ross, and a TJ Maxx, and a Famous Footwear. And that's pretty much it. That's all we have in this little town. So it's hard to find a job in retail management when there are no jobs. There's no retail. So, but we've made it work financially. I've been very thankful that I've figured ways to make it work, to stay out of work. But if things don't turn around here soon, I will have to go back to work, but like many other people. But yeah, the kids are our future, guys. The kids are our future, and if we don't take care of them and educate them correctly and start turning this around, like, we are paying these teachers. You pay your taxes. We're paying these teachers. We're paying those principals. We're paying the school board to teach our children. And they're not doing a great job. Like, there are a few good teachers, but I think there's a lot of teachers in the system that just, I can work, 7-8 months out of the year, and I get my whole summer off. And there's a lot of people that just do it for that. And we've seen over the last couple of years how these teachers don't want to go back to work because they're basically still getting paid as they're working. They're not working. They don't want to go back to school. So you need to take control in your community. And if you don't like something, go to the PTA meetings, go to the school board meetings, like these other people around the country, and they're telling these school boards off. We need to get control of our children. And if we want a better future, we need to teach our children morals and values and embrace their individuality and their uniqueness. Because we're all different, and we all have different talents and things that we can do, and we need to encourage people to not make fun of other people because of something that they like to do. Too many times kids are, like I said, picked on because of something, that they like to do. And they need to encourage the teachers when they see that behavior to, take care of it. Like, we need to embrace the individuality, like I said, of these children, because they are sponges and they're just beautiful little lights in the world, and we need to educate them correctly. And as Alex Collier says in he talks about the Andromedans and how they teach their children, and they actually go to school for like 150 years in their lifetime, and they teach them everything that the adults know. So the children know everything the adults know. They have the same knowledge, and that way as the kids get older, everyone's on the same page. There is no lying. It's only truth and knowledge. And when something learned is by someone, they teach it to everyone else. Okay, it's not kept secret or not talked about. And this is what we need to understand as a humanity, that we need to teach our children the same, values and morals as adults. We all need to know the same thing. So anyway, I hope you learned something from this video. If you have any questions, email me at the address below. Hopefully I'll do another video this week if I get a chance. I didn't get a chance last week until now to do this one. But anyway, hopefully some of this resonated with you too and is frustrating to you too. And like I said, just see what you can do to help your children better themselves, to make it a better future. Because I think we're headed in the right direction, and we're headed for a wonderful, wonderful new world if we could just embrace our children and all of us be on the same level together. So if you have any questions, like I said, email me below. I love you all, and butterfly kisses to y'all. See you later. Bye.